Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Battle video. Today we're going to be showcasing some fun battles here in the little cup featuring Drifloon. Drifloon's a very interesting pick for this cup, because it is a ghost type and is a flying type. So it has a sort of niche in the meta, which is kind of difficult to build around. But if you can get this in the right matchups, it'll do a ton of damage, and the Shadow Balls do a crazy amount of damage to the Bronzor. The really good thing about this Pokemon is it puts in a ton of work against Bronzor and Wynaut. Of course, it'll be resisting counters, which is amazing. It'll resist Tackle from Bronzor, which most people are using. Confusion makes the match a little bit closer, but not that many people are running that currently. The main issue I was having with this team was running into dark types, so if you run into Grimers or anything that's running Bite, or if you run into like Sandshrew, can be a bit of a problem for this team because of course the Ice type move hits you for super effective, and of course the Night Slashes will hit both your Pokemon for super effective. So it's like you're kind of like doubled up on weaknesses here, you know, where at least against Sandslash using Bronzor, of course it just has a good matchup against everything pretty much, but Drifloon, you know, it's not the bulkiest Pokemon, and it can't really like deal with, you know, some of the anti-bronzor Pokemon that well. It really is just a Pokemon that deals with Bronzor itself, and it can deal with some other certain Pokemon in the meta here. Of course, like I said, it does resist all normal type moves like Tackle and like Body Slams and everything, which is quite nice. Of course, it'll resist all the Mud Boys like Barboach, which I've seen a few times, and of course Wooper. That matchup is very, very positive for you, and you can over-farm get a ton of energy there. But in general, what I found is even things like Vulpix were quite difficult to deal with. Just can't do Vulpix with Ember, just because it's chunking through so quickly. And of course, it resists ice moves. So like I said, I think you just run this team as a part of an anti-bronzor team, not an actual bronzor team with this as kind of like, you know, sort of a middle Pokemon. I just left myself very, very short on answers to, like I said, all of those types of Pokemon, and to be honest, that's what the meta is currently dominated by. Of course, you see a lot of Bronzors, and you see basically every match is Bronzor or Anti-bronzor. It's pretty much why I've renamed this cup to the Shittle Cup, because it is just so boring. You just have to build your team around Bronzor, or build your team around Bronzor counters. It's just so boring. Wynaut hasn't been too bad, but I hope that next time a little cup comes out, which I believe is in May time, in about a month or so, this cup is coming back, and they really need to ban this Pokemon. It just really dominates this far too hard, and it makes the meta very stale, very boring, and it doesn't really give any usage to all our Pokemon outside this stupid coin, and you know, stupid Pokemon that can counter it with Bite. You know, it just makes the meta very, very stale. I was trying to sort of mix it up a little bit, but I just got heavily punished for it, guys, to be honest with you. I think in this first team here, we're going Bronzor lead. We're going for Jupiter in the back, which of course is there to deal with the like dark types and whatever. But if you get misaligned, you're just completely screwed basically. And trying to take switch with Drifloon does not work that well. So yeah, definitely consider that. A team that I thought might work would be the likes of Drifloon in the front with Alolan Vulpix and Sandshrew. So it means that you've got basically double coverage, right? The ice type moves will hit Volibes and Dinos for super effective, being the flying types, and of course Dragon. And the Night Slashes, and Vulpix actually has a dark type move as well. I believe it's Dark Pulse that it has. So I thought that might be an interesting team, but you know, I'm sure you're just going to get something that messes you up, like Vulpix will come in and start burning you down, you know, so you just can't win with this cup, honestly. There's just nothing safe, and like I said, it's just all very one-dimensional here. But listen guys, we're a couple of minutes into the video. If you're still at this point, I want you to quickly subscribe to the channel. I would highly recommend it. I upload really fun videos here, and we have the Spring Cup coming up next week, which I'm really excited for. It's back to like a Great League meta. So like I said guys, it is absolutely free. It is absolutely free to subscribe, folks. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and welcome guys, welcome. With all that being said guys, we're going to hop into these battles here, and of course, if you haven't already, do drop a like, it helps out a ton. We managed to farm down the Dino, which, you know, you can just about deal with Dino with Bronzor. I think if you just take it to the 2-shield, you can like either soft win or soft lose it. Here's a Pokemon you cannot soft win or soft lose against, so we're swapping into Drifloon, and they swap into the Mud Boy. So I'm like, okay, you don't know this matchup. I'm pretty happy to see that. We're going to start going for Body Slams, and as you can see, we are just resisting these like crazy. And I think at this point, like, my elo is quite low, so you're going to see like opponents making quite a lot of mistakes. And I'm just getting very, very good matchups here, because I just basically completely got hard-walled yesterday, unfortunately, towards the end of my battles, and I thought I was turning a corner here today, because here's the thing guys, like, I was on a massive winning streak towards the end of the Mountain Cup. In that meta, like, I was running Skarmory, Whiscash, and something else, I can't remember at this point, but I was just gaining elo every single day. I was going like 18, 19, 20 out of 25. I was like just climbing every single day up to like 24, 50 or something like that. And yeah, since these last two cups have came out, it's just been a slow and steady decline, unfortunately. But we're back in with this Vulpix again, and I think we're actually coming in here with more energy, so at this point, it's a little bit more manageable. They're using Ember, which chunks a lot, but of course they reach the moves a little bit slower. I definitely want to use Vulpix here, but I feel like it is quite a risky one. You see a ton of seals about this meta, and you get the occasional Mudboy. As you can see here, we're just about getting this farm down. So like that is the, like I said, crazy thing about this Pokemon. Bronzor does not need a ton of introduction here, of course. You know, it could even win matches against Vulpix. So here's a pretty interesting game here. This is, you know, it's a win for me. But these bug buzzes, as you're about to see, are going to do a crazy amount of damage. And if they get the debuff, the second one would hurt a lot. I decided to full send the payback because I know they can survive one, and they might just let it go. Shellman's a very underrated pick for this cup. It definitely deals with a lot of Pokemon here. As you can see, like if you're just no shielding everything, you know, it gets a little bit rough after a while. And they do outpace you to the moves. Shelmet might even win the zero shield, depending on IVs and everything. But in comes Lickitung. We're going to just start debuffing this thing like crazy. Again, Lickitung is a very difficult one, and I've started to see that creep up a little bit more quite recently. Of course, it resists all your ghost type all your ghost type moves, like Hex and Shadow Ball. So you're really relying on just Icy Winding it down, which is a little bit of a tough task. In this, Lickitung is it's actually not bulky at all in the little cup. It's very glassy, in fact, because it doesn't have all the XL candy like it would in the Great League. We're just going to come in here and just go straight for this. I don't want this thing to sort of survive any longer against my Drift. We're just going to swap straight out here. We are down a shield, so I would be surprised if I was able to win this. It is a seal, which again is just unfortunate. We have to go for a bait. Like, the opponent's got 2 shields here. I don't see how I can win this. So we'll see if the opponent makes a mistake or anything. This is likely, yeah, it's an Icy Wind, which would basically one-shot you with this Pokemon. I decided to go for another one. It really does not matter at this point what I go for. I'm not going to reach another one, yeah. So, yep, in comes this. The seal is going to probably Icy Wind it, yep. So, like this, the seal probably should have just went for that. And they try to give me a win condition here. Is this going to be a Body Slam? The opponent's trying to give me a win condition, but unfortunately I'm just too debuffed. I do get the farm down, but this does nowhere near enough damage, unfortunately. And Seal is a very bulky boy. But if that was a different Pokemon, like, we could have potentially took that out. So the opponent's definitely trying to let me win that one there. Unfortunate GG's. And, you know, I've seen just a lot of teams like that, and much worse than that, unfortunately. Courtney, very, very positive lead here. The opponent swaps into Dino, I swap into the Bug Boy, and this little alien bug is just going to eat this dinosaur for breakfast here. Aliens are greater than dinosaurs, in case you guys didn't know. The opponent top lefts, and there we go. We're 4-1 in that set, so at this point I'm like, yo, this is great. I did notice that, like, okay, the opponents are not playing very well here at the minute. You know, no offense to the opponents, but I did notice that. So I was like, okay, hopefully we can, you know, keep this going. And yeah, I think at this point we've skipped a couple of sets. Because as I said, I went 1-4, 1-4, and then the final set of the day was 1-4 as well. So this might be some gameplay from the 3-2 set. So like I said, this team, we're running Jupiter and Drift in the back. And I just sort of have to stay in here a little bit. These licks will do super effective damage. And, you know, I've just seen so many times where I'll swap out, get hard countered on my swap as well, and then I'll not have, like, yeah, the little bug. Like, let's see what they decide to do here. They'll probably go for a debuff and dip, but, like, I sort of need my bug for the dark types. So that's why I sort of think, like, this team is not the one. So they come in with a bug of their own, and we're just, I probably shouldn't have done this mirror code. It does no damage, and the debuff would be a lot more valuable here. You're not even supposed to be running mirror code in this cup. I just have it since the Little Cup remix. I haven't TM'd it off. TMs are just like absolute gold at the moment. I'm sure you guys would agree. After the Rocket event, I'm doing like a decent amount of raids and all my battles every day, but it feels like I'm using them faster than I'm able to get them, you know? So yeah, the opponent's going to go for a move here. I'm happy to eat the energy in this at this point, and I think I do eventually swap out straight away. This might just be a body slam here. Yeah, it is a body slam. So the opponent is, they're trying to fire off moves. I'm just trying to get this thing out of here at this point, because these moves are adding up eventually. And yeah, in comes Seal. Can we get the full farm down on this? I decide, okay, we're going to shield once and just go for the full farm down here. And hopefully we've got something in the back. It is a Whooper, so I'm like, right, I can actually win this here. So we're going to get off one Icy Wind. Boom. We're going to fire off another one. And this will double debuff the Whooper. I'll be more than happy for it to take out my Bronzor. And I don't swap out in time. I thought that they were one off here. And yeah, so we do eat that mud bomb, so it's actually absolutely fine. Then we swap out and catch one, just to kind of clear the debuff and everything. And at this point, we're looking in a decent sort of spot here. We just need to sort of go for a big over farm right here. The seal is quite low, so we just need to take this out. I farmed up to the Shadow Ball and the Icy Wind. I wasn't sure if you could store an Icy Wind in a Shadow Ball. They catch on the seal anyway, so that's absolutely fine. I sort of forgot about the health on the seal. But I wasn't sure if I could store both, and we win that just before the timer goes. Let me know, guys, if you noticed a lot of games running to the timer. I sort of expected this little cup to have really fast matches, but as it turns out, a lot of matches are running to the timer here. So we have an interesting match here. We've got Drifloon in the front, and we can basically win this in the 1 and 0 shield, I believe. One payback will basically take this thing out, or almost. It'll do like 80%. So if you definitely get it down to the 1 shield or 0 shield, it is better. So I let the first one go, thinking that they might want to beat this, and yep, they go straight for the Shadow Ball, which is correct. I thought, they might even go for Icy Wind here, which could allow me to get off a Psy Shock, but they did go straight for a back-to-back. So at this point, I decide to go in, do 3 hexes, and catch on the Jupiter here. This is going to be a little bit tough either way, because this Pokemon is going to be hard for my own to deal with. But they come in here with their seal, so it looks like they've got a Drifloon lead, a seal in the back as well. Do they potentially have another counter for Bronzor in the back? I think this is basically why tomorrow I'm just going to stop using that Pokemon, because it's just really like messing my teams up badly. It's literally just dead weight at certain points. Like, you can always get a lot of damage off, and it can be quite good, but like sometimes you'll have to invest both shields to take switch with it, and I would rather just try to hard counter the counters of Bronzor at this point, rather than actually using it. So I think I'll probably lean towards Sandshrew, Seal, and things like Alolan Vulpix. It's going to cost like another 125k to build it. Do let me know in the comments, guys, how much have you spent on this cup so far? I might have spent close to 1 million Stardust on this cup. By the time I've powered up things like Vulpix. I'm going to do a Alolan Vulpix tomorrow. I think I might have put a little bit of dust into Wooper. Probably put a little bit of dust in... I had Dewpider from before. I put a lot of dust into these Pokemon. Shelmet as well. Ducklet. Yeah, I've definitely powered up a few things. I think by the looks of things, we're getting it back this season again. As I said, they really do need to ban Bronzor. If they could just ban all XL Pokemon, that would be perfect. But yeah, it's definitely more expensive than I thought it was going to be. We've got a Dino lead here, and again, like, it's just like, right, you're hard countering Bronzor. Okay, cool. Let me just let my Bronzor die here. I'll get off as much as I can. I'm not going to shield it. Like, there's no point at this stage. I probably could take switch, but I'll just take the shield advantage again. So I guess that is the one good thing about, people trying to hard counter Bronzor. Like, Bronzor is so powerful itself that you pretty much do get shields. I decided to come in and go for the snipe with the bug bites, and hopefully we don't get punished for it. They come in with Cottony, and at this point I'm just going to go for a ton of debuffs. Cottony does not seem to be doing that well in this cup. Let me know if you guys have had much success with it, but look at these bug bites go. We're actually catching up on damage here. We've got this down to like 50%. I'm actually going to shield up a Seed Bomb, and we're just going to absolutely commit to a Bubble Beam and farm down here. They do reach the moves pretty slow, but look at this, we are catching up. We've got them into the red. Can we get this farmed the whole way down? I thought they were just about to reach a move, so I decided to fire this off straight away, and it actually does take them out. I accidentally swapped into my Bronzor thinking that they would get off a Seed Bomb, but no, it is a seal in the back, and in the 1 shield scenario, this is going to be very tough here. I do need to make a catch or something, and I messed up my timer by swapping that in, so like I ruined my opportunity to win this, basically, by thinking that I would not take them out with the Bubble Beam, which is reasonable enough. Like, that is a bulky Pokemon. I feel like that's a pretty bad IV one. The opponent does take us out here, and yeah, that's going to be a good game. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, man. If you did, please drop a like. And I had a pretty horrible day, and I hope you guys appreciate like the honesty in these videos, or at least, I'm not just showing you like everything, oh, this is all amazing. I do have very bad days, and I was getting very, very tilted, and I think I still am tilted since a couple of days ago. And you can definitely see that reflecting in the gameplay. So the best advice I could give you is just try to leave the past behind, guys. Don't live in the past, live in the present, all that sort of stuff. And try to sort of plan ahead instead of thinking back. But thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, where I'm most likely going to be burning like another 120k on a new Pokemon, which will be a Alolan Vulpix, but at least it will be useful for the future. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Of course, feel free to join our Discord, drop a like, drop a sub, and I'll catch you guys next time.